There was a very touching lunch last week that Judith Chalmers and the Lady Taverners gave in tribute to me, and I had a few friends along to say a few words. Rob Brydon, Harry Hill, Jimmy Tarbuck, Danny LaRue, Stephen Fry from America sent a big message. But the point I was sort of making is that the friends I have cover generations as well, because there's no division for me in my life between my contemporaries and people who, are very hot today, because I'm interested in them all and I go and see them all. So I don't know how I've lasted so long, to be truthful. I don't do as much now, but as you say, you see the catalogue of work that, well, certainly the catalogue of work that Ronnie Barker did, even more than me. When you see Open All Roads going out now at BBC One at evening hours and Porridge. Sorry, I can't get them to repeat. Sorry, I don't know why I keep saying that. And somebody will hear it one day. But I mean, the Two Ronnies and the sketchbooks, everything. There's so much material, and it's been going on for so many years that people are still excited by it, because I think the quality of the writing made it last. There's still things you can say, you can read again, I think, my God, that was clever, and I think that has helped, really.
Other than really funny, how would you describe your type of comedy?
I don't know, really. I mean, certainly very, very word-based, probably, rather than physical. The funny thing about comics, in a way, is, well, I speak of myself, that I started off being quite funny naturally in myself, do you know what I mean? And then as the years go by, you, rather like a French polisher, you put on veneers with skills, with voices, with sophisticated writing, or a bit more this and that, and you have to be careful that you don't cover up what you really started with, with technique and voices, and you think, wait a minute, was I ever really funny in the first place? And you look at Peter Kay and you think, my God, he is really funny. He is funny from the word go. He is actually funny from the word go. And of course, also, I think that comics have gone through a change. I mean, when we all started, I say that, my wife and everything, and worked with Trinder and worked with Max Wall and worked with the Crazy Gang, they were nearly comics all the time. If you had lunch with Trinder, it'd be Trinder that was on the night before, or a bit like Motabi can be like that, very, very. Whereas the generation that followed, like John Cleese and Michael Palin and Eric Idle, are not really funny as themselves. They are just normal folk, and then they go into a funny mode. So it changes a lot, really.
Do you think those people are more actors than comedians?
They're probably actors with a funny angle on things when it comes to writing down. But you mentioned the wonderful Ken Dodd there. Now, Ken is not funny all the time. He's a very serious student of the art of comedy, isn't he? I mean, going back to the Greek and everything, I mean, he's almost to professorial standards. Quite a big word. But I mean, he's really studied the whole thing. I mean, it is amazing, really. Yes, it's just quite amazing, really. Has Ken tried to change, or has he always been there on his own with his tickling stick and a hat or a big drum? He never wanted to do sketches or anything, or I don't think he did, no.
No, it was just that. He just wanted to stand on stage and tell jokes, as far as I understand.
But I was saying to you before we started talking about this that I did read the interesting piece about him, because, of course, the business has undergone a little bit of a change. There is this new thing called stand-up, which is terrific and very exciting in a lot of people's hands, but it's quite different from what Ken did or what I do, or in as much as these chaps arrive in the T-shirt and the leather jacket, and you see them having a half pint of lager before you go into the theatre. Then they come on and think, oh my God, that was him. He was standing next to me in the bar a minute ago. And he entertains you for an hour and a quarter, and he goes off and he's back in the bar afterwards, and there he is again. In our world, we're in a little dressing room getting ready, and we pee like out of a cracker,
They don't really tell jokes either, do they now?
No, they don't. No, they do. I mean, they have a fantastically original way of rambling round and being very funny, and quite, of course, quite rude and saying things, talking about subjects that we wouldn't talk about, sort of rude, but not deeply offensive, just little islands of extreme rudeness, and then, but very good with words and very good with, very entertaining, really.
It seems to me now that of all the comedians that are left, Ken Dodd's probably our greatest stand-up comedian. We've lost so many, probably in even the last 10 years, with Les Dawson and people like that. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. And he's been the greatest for ever, really, since... yes, he has been, a great legend. I've met him about 3 or 4 times and spoken on the telephone recently too, funnily enough. And I don't know how he exactly works, but I do know that when he did the shows at the BBC, he used to. He always rolled up all the. In those days, autocue was all on roll paper. All his jokes were all rolled up, put in the case, and props were put in another case, and he had them, and he in the car and away somewhere, But I know he's an avid collector of things to say, and he used to write things all over his hand. I don't know if he does, and slipping in new bits. He must have a fantastic memory, really. Of course, great memory.
And he writes long notes about every show he does. Did you ever do that?
No, I never did that. And, what sort of things might he write?
I've never seen them, but from what I understand, he can tell you what happened in Glasgow in 1997. He can tell you exactly how a joke went, and the jokes that went well and the jokes that went badly. It's that detailed.
God. Is he changing all the time? Is it like a snake skin? A bit goes off the front and a new bit comes on at the back? Is that sort of thing? Or
very slowly now, because of course when you've got 5 hours of material, you can't replace it all.
I know. And of course, in it, he does wrap up some real old jokes as well. I don't mean jokes, but gags. Oh my God, I'm surprised he's still doing that one, wrapped up in the new ones, But still, no, lovely, wonderful.
I think his mantra is, if it gets a laugh, it goes in.
That's right. Not worried about people saying, oh my God, that's a creaky one, No.
I loved your DVD from a couple of years ago, which was so entertaining. And again, your way in which you deliver is gentler than Ken Dodd. You don't kind of bang it at the end as he does.
No, I've always been, I'm afraid, a little bit like that, a little bit on the gentle side.
Do you have a plan to do another tour? Because, people love seeing you live and you're good at it.
Well, I am. Quite enjoy it. An hour is enough for me to do. And I've got probably a bit of a complex about getting enough new stuff, because I know one of the glorious virtues of the new generation, like Harry Hill, or I don't mean he's that new, but I mean young compared to me, and even Divine... Victoria Wood. Have a new hour each year they go out. How do they find it, And I said, I couldn't go out again and do the same stuff. I'd be frightening people. I said, people won't remember, and the same people won't come to see you either, but I hang on to stuff and don't change it as much, because it's very difficult to find, of course. I have, and as you have new material, of course, or you do new material, you don't do it with the same vigor and attack as you do the old stuff, because you're not so sure of it. It's a bit like with the dog growling at you, they do it, I'll do this gently until you need confidence, really.
Do you still enjoy doing the live stuff?
Yes, I do. I really quite like doing corporates. That's about I enjoy a half hour or 35 minutes. When it gets over an hour, I get bored with myself. Never mind.
Were you a funny child?
I would think probably quaint rather than funny. I don't know. I know I wasn't. Although I'm short, I never had to use comedy as a defense mechanism at school, because I wasn't bullied or anything. So there must have been a sort of air about me, or an aura about me, that protected me from possible bullying. People must have thought, well, he's got enough to say for himself, and I think he can stand his own ground. But I don't remember being funny. But I was, of course, when I first performed in the church youth club at the age of 15, now 16, I was obviously funny. And that was the turning point of my life, because I realised I hadn't known what to do, and then I suddenly found this facility, which was rare, because I hadn't found in any part of my life a facility that I found at that time on the stage, a comfort zone I was in, and I thought, this is a little message, a little sign I'm getting here. And I grabbed hold of it and followed it relentlessly from then onwards, really. So that was a blessing.
Once you've had a laugh on stage, can you ever go back and be a serious actor, do you think?
Well, it's very, very, what is the word I'm looking for? It's very, very addictive, yes. Yes, you would have a job playing a straight role. You will always be looking for a little gap where you can get a laugh, really. So it is, yes, a very addictive thing to be able to do, really.
Professionally speaking, when was the turning point? Was it when you did the Frost programme and you met Ronnie Barker?
Yes, the Frost report, definitely. Yes, David Frost changed my life, really. I thought my life was going to change before that, because one afternoon I had this phone call from Joan Littlewood, of all people, saying I'm doing a musical which has been written by Lionel Bart. It's going to be designed by Oliver Messel. It's going to be choreographed by Paddy Stone, and it's about Robin Hood, and I'd love you to be in it, playing Will Scarlett. And I thought, well, my goodness me, that is a turnaround. And of course it was really turned out to be one of the biggest disasters of all time, called Twang. And but just round the corner from that awful, David Frost rang me up and said, I'm about to do a show called The Frost Report, and I have to tell you that if Twang runs, you won't be able to do it, but if it comes off like it looks, it might. And Twang came off, and I did The Frost Report, and from that moment on, my life changed. So David Frost really was the major turning point, yeah.
That programme really did create so many careers, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Well, David, I don't think David gets enough of the credit for the number of people he sort of found or fostered, because he was quite a brave entrepreneur, David. He was the first of performers who started their own production companies, and he encouraged and promoted John Cleese and all Python Boys and Marty Feldman and, as I say, all Python, who all wrote and performed and wrote a lot of the Frost Report material and a lot of the material we did subsequently. And so a clutch of about 12 people David used to sort of sponsor a writer. He realised the importance of good writing. So
how do you know in your career when you're on the right path and you've actually got some talent and you might make it? How do you know that you're not just following a dream like you see so many of these kids on X Factor who really can't sing?
Yes. Well, of course, the thing about Ron and I is, as Danny said the other day at the lunch down the room, that we, and he certainly, like Ken Dodd, we're talking about theatrical people. We were theatre trained in the theatre with all the skills of being heard and standing still when you're supposed to stand still and not sitting down, and the costumes and all the rules. You're being in half an hour before, and 35 minutes in fact, because the half an hour is peculiarly not a half hour, it's actually 35 minutes, and all these little rules that you lived by because you were theatre trained. And so we weren't Tuppenny Haley Hook who sang in a pub and then went on these ephemeral celebrity careers. They're just so different, you see.